Welcome to the Station for Learning. Today we are going to talk about Gadamer's philosophy of hermeneutics. What is truth? Understanding why truth matters when interpreting texts through the lens of philosophical hermeneutics. Hans-Georg Gadamer. Hans-Georg Gadamer, a 20th century German philosopher, developed a distinctive approach to hermeneutics, which is the study of interpretation and understanding. For Gadamer, interpretation is not a mechanical decoding of words, but a dialogue between the text and the interpreter, shaped by history, culture, and language. A central idea in Gadamer's philosophy is the fusion of horizons. The horizon refers to the perspective or worldview of a person shaped by their time, traditions, and experiences. When interpreting a text, the horizon of the interpreter meets the horizon of the text, which itself comes from a different historical context. Understanding takes place when these horizons merge, creating new meaning that is not fixed but continuously evolving. Gadamer also emphasizes the role of prejudices, or pre-understandings. Unlike the negative sense of prejudice as bias, Gadamer uses the term to show that we all approach text with prior assumptions and expectations. These are not obstacles, but necessary starting points for interpretation. Through openness and dialogue, these assumptions can be tested, reshaped, and expanded. Hans-Georg Gadamer's statement, "A text is understood only if it is understood in a different way every time," highlights his belief that understanding is never fixed or final. Each act of interpretation is shaped by the reader's context, experiences, and historical situation, which are always changing. A text written centuries ago, for instance, speaks differently to people in the present than it did to its original audience. Yet, both interpretations remain meaningful. This means that a text's truth is not limited to its first moment but unfolds across time through continuous reinterpretation. For Gadamer, real understanding occurs when readers allow a text to enter into dialogue with their own horizon, leading to fresh insights with each encounter. Thus, the vitality of a text lies in its ability to generate new meanings whenever it is read. Philosophical hermeneutics. Philosophical hermeneutics is the study of how human beings understand and interpret meaning, especially in texts, traditions, and human experiences. Unlike earlier hermeneutics, which was mainly about developing rules for interpreting sacred or legal texts, philosophical hermeneutics, developed especially by Hans-Georg Gadamer, focuses on the nature of understanding itself. It argues that understanding is not a mechanical process of uncovering one fixed meaning, but a dialogue between the interpreter and what is being interpreted. Our background, history, culture, and language all shape how we understand something. Gadamer calls this the fusion of horizons, the coming together of the interpreter's perspective with the perspective of the text or tradition. Philosophical hermeneutics also emphasizes that interpretation is never complete or final. A text or work can always reveal new meanings when read in different contexts and times. In this way, hermeneutics is not just a method but an ongoing process of discovery and conversation that deepens human understanding of the world. Philosophical hermeneutics, often described as the art of interpretation, is concerned with how we understand meaning and significance in human existence. Its core inquiry lies in exploring the nature of understanding itself and recognizing its fundamental role in shaping human life and experience. Hans-Georg Gadamer's groundbreaking breaking work, Truth and Method, in 1960s, stands as the central text of this tradition. In it, Gadamer challenged the traditional view that interpretation seeks only one objective truth hidden within a text. Instead, he argued that meaning emerges through dialogue between the interpreter and the text, influenced by history, culture, and context. This revolutionary approach redefined interpretation as a dynamic and evolving process, making philosophical hermeneutics not just a method but a profound reflection on the way human engages with knowledge, tradition, and truth. Philosophical hermeneutics emphasizes the idea of continuous interpretation, showing that understanding is never a finished act but an ongoing process. As we observe, we encounter the world through the lens of our culture, history, and personal background. We then interpret by making sense of these experiences in ways shaped by our context and prior knowledge. Finally, we express our interpretations through thought and language, which themselves carry cultural and historical influences. This cycle demonstrates Gadamer's insight that interpretation is not static but dynamic, unfolding anew each time we engage with the world, a text, or an experience. Philosophical hermeneutics views understanding as a process of continuous interpretation. As we observe, we encounter the world through the lens of our culture and history. We then interpret continuously, constantly, making sense of our experiences in light of what we already know, and finally express these interpretations through our thoughts and language. This ongoing cycle is deeply shaped by the role of historical tradition. Since the past continues to influence the questions we ask and the way we think, our thinking and language are not detached from history but built upon it, carrying forward insights while opening new possibilities. In this sense, cultural tradition provides the foundation for our present intellectual horizons, showing that understanding is always both rooted in the past and alive in the present. Philosophical hermeneutics emphasizes the idea of continuous interpretation, where understanding unfolds as an active and ongoing process. As we observe, we encounter the world through the lens of our culture and personal background. We then interpret the encounters, continuously making sense of our experiences in light of prior knowledge, and finally express them through thought and language, which themselves reflect this interpretive process. This ongoing interpretation is deeply shaped by the role of historical tradition. The past influences the present by shaping what we can think, the questions we raise, and the meanings we construct. Our thought and language, while not bound rigidly to the past, maintain a constant connection to it, building upon inherited ideas. In this way, traditions forms the cultural foundation of our intellectual horizons today. Closely tied to this is the role of cultural heritage and understanding. From our heritage, we inherit pre given judgments and ideas that shape how we approach the world. Far from being restrictive, these inherited cultural elements provide a positive foundation for interpretation, giving us the tools and perspectives that make understanding possible. Thus, Gadamer's hermeneutics shows that every act of understanding is both personal and historical, rooted in tradition while open to new meaning. In summary, Gadamer's hermeneutics sees interpretation as an active, historical, and dialogical process. Rather than aiming for a final or absolute meaning, it stresses the continuing conversation between the past and the present, allowing understanding to remain open, dynamic, and transformative. So, the key takeaways from this entire conversation was there is no single truth related to the text. The historical influence is always there when you are interpreting anything, any text, and it is a continuous process as the human existence involves continuously interpreting and reinterpreting the world around us. That's all from Station of Learning for today. Do not forget to like, share, and subscribe. You can also tell us in the comment section that which topic we should be doing next, we should be covering next for your assistance. Thank you.